Executive privilege is the right of the president to keep secret communications that he has, official communications over governmental policy with other members of the executive branch. And it is limited to sensitive national security matters, diplomatic secrets, or military secrets. This is an investigation, a criminal investigation, about President Biden's pre-presidential behavior. It's not covered by executive privilege. Attorney General Garland knows this as well or better than I do, and he knows that this will fail. But he just wants to get it across the finish line. What's the finish line? November 5th, because they don't want this to be an election issue. If he were to reveal the tape and the tape were to show that the president's mental acuity was, let's say, more diminished than it appeared on the transcript of the tape, which has areas that they blacked out.
Yeah, because as we know, writing and reading something versus hearing it, it's a very, very different thing.
In terms of holding him in contempt, it's not a nice thing when you're a lawyer and you've been held in contempt. Janet Reno, Bill Clinton's attorney general, was held in contempt. Eric Holder, Barack Obama's attorney general, was held in contempt. It sticks with you for the rest of your career. Is he going to go to jail? No. Is anybody going to prosecute him? He's in charge of federal prosecution, so nobody's going to prosecute him.
So speaking of jail time, I want to ask you about Hunter Biden. As we know, found guilty on those 3 felony charges. Do you think he spends a day in jail?
No, I don't. And I'm going to put aside the likelihood of a presidential pardon after Election Day, of course. Does he have, here are the questions judges ask before sentencing. And Justice Mearsham will ask the same questions in the Donald Trump case. Does he have prior conviction? No. Is this a crime of violence? No. Is he a danger to society? No. Was anybody harmed by what he did? No. No, 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 and no. That all tells you no jail time. In Hunter Biden's case, the same statute under which he was prosecuted has already been found unconstitutional by a federal appeals court. It is likely that the appellate court over this judge will find the same thing.
Interesting. Okay, so there was a Supreme Court decision. I know that they're also supposed to put out some more cases, but this one yesterday involving an abortion pill. But this really isn't an abortion case, right?
You know, the pro-abortion crowd is crowing over this as if the same Supreme Court that invalidated Roe versus Wade now says abortion pills are okay. That's not the case at all. There is nothing in this case about abortion. I'll say it again. There is nothing in this opinion about abortion. It's all about the right of people to sue. So doctors, physicians who don't administer this pill sued the FDA to block it from authorizing other doctors to administer the pill. And the Supreme Court said, well, you can only sue under the Constitution where there's a case or controversy, where you've been harmed. How have you been harmed? You haven't. If you don't want to administer the pill, don't. It's up to the FDA to decide whether or not to license it. That is a decision based on what we call standing, your right to sue under the Constitution. Does anybody have standing? Yes. The states have standing.
Yes.
Is there a case where the states have sued the FDA? Yes. Where is that case? En route to the Supreme Court. It'll be another year before we get that decision.
So, Judge, I want to ask you, you mentioned that you don't think Hunter will see any jail time at all. Do you think that Trump sees any jail time? When we asked his son, Don Jr., he said they are preparing for that because, again, they just don't know what this judge will do.
Well, I think Don Jr. is correct, and I don't blame them for preparing for it, but I don't see any jail time at all for the same reason. All those same questions will be answered no. No prior, no harm to anybody, no danger to society, no harm to the victim. What victim? There's no victim in either of those cases, in the Hunter Biden case or in the Donald Trump case. So I don't see, listen, I've sentenced more than 1,000 people in my career. You can't just shoot from the hip and say, bad guy, I'm going to put him away. I like this person, I'm going to give him a break. You have to fill out a checklist. There are 22 items on that checklist. And depending upon how you fill it out, one column is aggravating factors, the events surrounding the crime that made it really bad. One is mitigating factors, aspects of the defendant that lessen the idea of sending the person to jail. And when you have filled out that checklist, it indicates to you jail or no jail, and if jail, how much time. And I'm telling you, in Donald Trump's case, every one of those check marks will indicate no incarceration.